What's dangerous is when the universe pick you and you put on the magic glasses. There's rules that go with them. You can never take them off. You never see things as they're supposed to be. You see things as they are. And you can never force nobody else to wear them.
Things I think while I lie awake and contemplate tonight are wearing me out. Well, maybe tomorrow the world will wake and get it right, but I have my doubts, yeah. During the day, well, I design machines of war that scream through the sky. 'Cause I, for one, I like to go to bed free at night under these stars and stripes. And I have my doubts that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts, and I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. Yes, I have my doubts, but they'll wind you up and pull the cord until you're spun right out. And I don't understand. Roll the dice and raise the price to feed the machine's mouth. Call it the progress of man. And I have my doubt that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts. And I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. I have my doubts, so I'll drink my stuff and raise some hell and shoot my guns to the end of my time. You can have the booze and go to hell and take the guns, but I know they won't be mine. We're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts, and I have my doubts that we'll make it back up. Yes, I have my doubts. So we're all messed up and out of touch. Let's text someone who's in the other room. So don't wonder why we don't say hi or know anyone. I might as well move to the moon. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. Well, the things I think while I lie awake and contemplate tonight are wearing me out.
Good evening. You can lead a man to knowledge, but you can't make him think. There is so much truth to that quote. So much. See, one of the things that I've tried pointing out, because it's important that we see these things, there's a lot of things in our society that's not really as it appears. And hopefully you should know that by now. And you hear a lot of people that will rant and rave, especially red team members will rant and rave about benefits and entitlements and all of that. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again because I stand behind it. It's the truth. There is a much, much, much worse form of entitlement than getting a check from the government. And in fact, an even worse form of entitlement is when you're willing to give up the goose. You're willing to give up everything for that little bit of security, right? And a little bit of that road building, right? Because what's the first thing anytime the budget comes up? You got, how are the roads going to get built? Because they can't even possibly conceive of the idea of maybe using their head and pooling resources with others to be able to fix the problem. Pooling your resources, your labor, your equipment. You know, we could take care of it if we've got the initiative and the motive to do it. So, while you folks are always ragging on people that might be getting a check from the government every month, don't forget that you have no plans as to how in the hell the roads are going to get built if the budget isn't paid, right? So, either just quit with the political banter bullshit or, maybe get a clue. Here's the thing. I've said this so many times that I'm not here for money. And I'm not. Damn. Wouldn't it be evident if I were? Do you see it evident that I'm trying to fleece a bunch of money or to even get people just whatever to give me a bunch? Or does it look like I'm really putting the time and effort into YouTube to get that video, view count up so I can make YouTube revenue? Does any of that look familiar with this channel? Because let me know if it does. I need to quit that shit right away. Because I'm not here for that, right? I'm here to speak to the people that want to listen, the people that want to learn. Anytime that I come across information that I don't know, I am smart enough to shut my mouth and open my ears. And then I will ask questions to learn even more. Because I want to understand the ins and outs of it. I want to understand the actual theory of how it works. Not only that, but I want the experience of doing it with my own hands. I'm not one of these people that believe in just talk. No. In fact, I talk very little and do very lot. That's the way it is. I'm not the same type of person that you would normally come across doing this. I'm not that guy, right? Just like I'm not the type of person that would go run for office and be a politician, but at the same time, I am somebody that's capable and mature enough to be able to handle the job correctly. I think it was George Washington did not want to be president. If I'm not mistaken, he didn't want anything to do with it. But he was elected anyway and made a damn fine president for what he had to work with at the time. Did a great job, honestly. And I look out there today and I see the pride in ignorance because that's what it is. Make no mistake. It's pride and ignorance. And while that frustrates me in and of itself just because of the nature of it, what really gets me, and every day it's even more and more, because make no mistake, that clock is ticking. You know, I don't believe in all the fear-mongering, sitting there telling you about all the shortages that never happen and all that stuff. I do news here. I don't do propaganda. I don't do agenda. I do news. But what I don't understand, and I put a little bit in the description of the video, because I don't understand it. I'm not here for the same reasons as these folks. I'm not trying to take a damn thing from any of them. I don't want them to make me famous or give me a bunch of subscribers. Or I don't give a rat's ass. And maybe that's why they don't understand me. Maybe that's why I'm just stupid. Because they don't understand how somebody can be moral and ethical and just do the right thing without being rewarded for it. It's not my problem that you guys, and I'm not speaking to my viewers here, I'm speaking to the Prepper channel. It's not my problem you guys can't see that. It's not my problem that you can't see past the projection of yourself to understand that not everybody's like you. Some of us truly want to help. We truly, and don't give me no bullshit about your help. Because if you wanted to help people, you'd stop worrying about focusing on making money and focus on saving lives. And I'm sorry, I've been doing this, I can prove this, since 2016. I can prove it. Trying to bring the same damn knowledge to the prepping community that will save insane amounts of lives. And I'm not somebody that's out here talking the talk. You know, I've showed this. Yeah, I made a video. I showed this. And the FEMA gasifier manual, right? I don't even need this. I've got it fucking memorized. You know how many of these I built with my own bare hands? There's equipment fitted, ready, and actually working every year to make sure everything's in working order. I fucking done it. You know how when you achieve something and you're pretty proficient at it, and somebody comes along that clearly hadn't done it, but want to bullshit people into thinking they have? You know how you know that they're bullshitting? That's where I'm coming from with these prepper channels. I'm not here to steal anybody's thunder. I'm not here to get big. I'm not here to make money. I just want to save lives. I want to help people. We have a hell of a lot of people in this country. And I'm sure many people's heard the numbers, like if there was an EMP, that they estimate up to 90% or even more of the people. You know why? Sure, there'll be some violence, there'll be a lot of starvation, a lot of disease. Disease being probably highest on that. But starvation's not gonna fall far from the disease. Because nobody's thinking about it. Nobody's preparing for it. You've got a bunch of people that have a bunch of stuff stored and stocked up. Sure, you got some of them homesteading and stuff like that, but if they aren't today getting like at least 80% of their own needs from their own supply, from their own source, meaning their own animals, their own fields. And then on top of that, what you need to think about is all the support that they have today to do that work that they won't have. What do I mean by support? Well, I don't know, fuel. Fuel for the tractors to be able to do it. Because I guarantee you there's not a whole lot of people out there with animals and equipment, animals and the proper implements and all of that to do it. And for those that are, right on. Good on you. Because about the best bet right now would be to focus on trying to be like the Amish. If these fucking prepper channels were serious, they would be working heartily in that direction. Because they're not thinking about the amount of support that it takes for them to even raise their own animals, for them to even farm their own fields. And that's if they've got them. There's only a handful of the prepper channels that even have the land, even have the animals. But they're doing so with a lot of support. Fuel, feed, hay, whatever. The things that they need to do what they're doing. That'll all be gone. It'll be gone. They won't have that support. They won't have that fuel for them tractors. It's gone. What's the plan? I'm not trying to steal anybody's thunder. I've got a serious fucking question here. Now, the reason why I've subbed people like Pinball and people like Angry Prepper, and I'm still subbed to both of them, is because they do have things they can teach. I don't know so much, and I'm just being honest. Sorry, Jason. At this point, I don't know much anymore where you could teach me. But I do learn from Pinball yet. Learn a little bit of the financial stuff. And again, his take on Ukraine and Russia, he's on it. It is what it is. I'm not going to sit here. Life isn't like that, right? If somebody doesn't know something, they're not a dumbass about everything. So I take from what people can offer. I try to give what I can offer. But the problem is you get these people with these egos like this, and again, they're projecting who they are onto everybody else, so they automatically, I must be up to something or something. No, I'm not you. Jeez. Anyway. Sorry, not sorry, whatever the hell. Folks, take your own initiative. Don't wait for somebody to figure out who's going to build the roads or who's going to fix the road. Take the initiative. Take the initiative. These work. They were doing it in World War II. I really don't. I have built a shit ton of these. Okay, and some of them are fitted to equipment already. But there is a shit ton of these in waiting. In waiting. That is what I have done. Not myself. I had help. But I'm just saying. I've already been there. I've already done it. So that's why I'm looking at you guys going, you're full of shit. Because you are. You need a long-term plan. Is your plan to wing it? You always laugh when Bear talks about the bug-out bag, and he's right. There's a whole hell of a lot of people out there that they've got a bug-out bag, and they're going to bug out, but they ain't got no plan. They're just going to, hit the woods. And I'll tell you what, there's a hell of a lot of people that really do believe they're going to hunt and fish their way out of that. most of you, I think, are seasoned enough to know better than that one. I'm not even saying my idea is the best answer. But it's a plausible one. It's a practical one. And one that works. It worked for people back in World War II. It works for my buddy every damn year when he does one of the fields with it. Well, not it. There's multiple equipment, but it works. Look up Wayne Keith on YouTube. He's got a truck that he drives around. Wayne Keith drives his truck on the highway and everywhere else. On wood. It runs on wood. No, I'm not opsecking the shit out of myself. Go look up Wayne Keith. I just want to help. That's the most sad thing about all of it. You got a bunch of hollow suits that do a good job at bullshitting, that are interested in stroking their egos and making money. The algorithm even pushes it. You think the algorithm pushes good things to you? It doesn't. We don't have that in the United States. Just like the version of TikTok that our youth uses is not the same version as what China uses. Why? Because they understand how detrimental it is to a nation to corrupt the children. And it's the politicians that folks vote on that are allowing it. Because once again, they're entitled and they're waiting for somebody else to fix it. And they'll tell you I've got nothing to offer. What's your IQ, Jason? Mid, high 50s? Tops? Kenneth? High 60s? Yeah, I'd say you're high 60s. About right? Wonder how I could do that. I wonder. I wonder. You know, when you speak to a man's enemies, if you hold anything they say to heart, you're the biggest fucking fool there is. I thank my dad for teaching me that. Know both sides of the story. Know both sides of the story. Because oftentimes the first one you hear isn't going to be the one that you needed to hear. Because you know, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. And I'm not squeaky. Because I really don't give a rat's ass what people think. But I do want to help people. That, you know, the two don't correlate. I want to help people. And I'm not apologetic by not giving a shit about what people think of me. I don't know what to tell people. I've gone all my life with people that I should be able to love and trust that were shit. And I've had good people along the way, and unfortunately, in my younger years, I shit on a lot of good people. But I'm trying to learn from my mistakes. What's that? What? On what? Oh, anyway. I, got a fair amount of articles up here. Some really insane mini bike, the little electric scooter. That thing's pretty quick. Let's see. I do have how many? 8? Got 8 tabs open. Bit all over the place, but most of it's pretty important stuff. So let's go ahead and head on over. And this I really don't like to bring to you. Pentagon unveils military suicide numbers. America's military suicide crisis shows no signs of easing as active-duty U.S. soldiers killed themselves at a rate of more than 1 per day in this year's first quarter, up 25% from 2022's pace, a new Pentagon report has shown. Active-duty suicides rose to 94 in the January-March period from 75 in the same quarter a year earlier, the U.S. Department of Defense said in its latest report on the trend. The total was the highest for any 3-month period since 2021's April-June quarter, when there were 97 military suicides. The DoD is fully committed to preventing suicides in our military community, the Pentagon's Defense Suicide Prevention Office said in the report. Every death by suicide is a tragedy. Well, yeah. Military suicides have risen sharply in the 2+ decades since America's war on terror began, following the September 2001 terrorist attacks on the World Trade Center and Pentagon. There were almost 29 suicides per 100,000 troops in 2020, up from 17.5 a decade earlier. Let's see. What was that about? Active duty figures don't include reservists or veterans. Nearly 17 former U.S. troops kill themselves each day on average, according to the government data. There were 41 suicides by reservists in the latest quarter, unchanged from a year earlier. In the active duty ranks, suicides among U.S. Army troops in the January-March quarter jumped 32% from a year earlier to 49. The Marine Corps saw, a larger increase, with the number of suicides surging by 75% to 14. The Pentagon has looked for ways to reverse the trend, so far unsuccessfully. A DoD advisory panel recommended in February that the U.S. military take such steps as banning gun purchases by soldiers under age 25 and imposing a 7-day waiting period on ammunition sales. Active duty suicides have exceeded 300 for each of the past 5 years, and the first quarter total puts the military on pace to come closer to 400 such deaths in 2023. So, and I know I'm speaking to the choir here, but the direction that our government's taking the military, this is undoubtedly going to keep increasing. they keep parading around people with mental illness as being heroes. And the biggest problem with that is there's a reality that sooner or later hits them. And if you look, at the stories that the mainstream's not telling you about, it's devastating to these people's lives. And even more so to the people that's gone through surgical procedures and stuff like that. So they've already committed on a level that ain't much going back. I talk about fake people and the fake bullshit of society all the time. It's rampant. It's rampant. I keep to myself. Again, I say I'm not here to become known for an ego. I'm not. I keep to myself. I'm not even a big fan of communicating with people, to be real honest. Part of it is I'm selfish, to be quite honest. I want as much time possible to think as I can. Probably sounds crazy, but it's true. I'm an odd duck. I'm a very odd duck. But it's par for the course, and I'll leave that at that. Anywho, this is horrid, and I think it's just going to get worse. Because you can't dress up mental illness and parade it around as something that it's not. And not have a devastating impact. Let me look back up. Oh, okay. About lawsuits, I guess. Interesting. That's really interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of, and I don't know why, but I get spammed. Like, I don't get tons of spam, but a lot of the spam I will get is like lawsuit stuff for prior military, and I've never been prior military. I don't know. I mean, no, I don't know why I would be getting those. I really don't. I don't think they would have other connections. I'll just say that. But let's see. Unfortunately, like I said, this is going to get worse. Oh, and it's all, it's that snowball. It's that snowball rolling downhill. Speaking of snowballs and the hill, the White House was evacuated because Hunter Biden was there. No, wait, I got that wrong. The White House was evacuated over cocaine. Yeah, see, I just, Whew. All right, here we go. The White House and the surrounding area were evacuated on Sunday as the Secret Service investigated an unknown substance. I mean, Hunter would have straightened you out on that real damn quick. Found on the grounds that turned out to be cocaine, the authorities have confirmed. Was it good stuff, or had it been stepped on a lot, or just, the grounds were cleared as a precaution after the Secret Service's Uniformed Division officers spotted an unknown item on the White House complex right behind Hunter Biden at 18th Street and Pennsylvania Avenue. A Secret Service spokesman told reporters on Sunday. The Washington, D.C. Fire Department's hazardous materials team was dispatched to evaluate the find, in which they just contacted Hunter Biden to bring his nose. Now, while the Secret Service closed down multiple streets in the area around the White House, well, yeah, because they didn't know how, if it wasn't stepped on, if it was pretty clear, yeah, they better evacuate blocks, because they don't know what Hunter's going to do. It's just like anything's game. D.C. Emergency Medical Services soon deemed the substance non-hazardous. Now wait a minute, non-hazardous? Then why is it on a schedule? Anyway, and the streets were reopened. The mystery substance tested as cocaine hydrochloride. A recording from D.C. Fire and Hazmat tweeted by radio aggregator Open Megahertz confirmed. Cocaine is a Schedule II narcotic in the U.S., and not apparently to Hunter Biden, meaning it has a high potential for abuse and addiction and is illegal to possess without a doctor's prescription. Wait, you can get a prescription for cocaine? Doc! No, I'm kidding. Let's see. Secret Service was reportedly still investigating the origins of the substance as of Sunday night. Yeah, because, it was some really good shit. They don't know if it came from Colombia or, they're kind of curious. They'd like to have a little bit more of it, please. Local authorities were said to be on high alert. Well, yeah, they were high as fuck. After an incident early Sunday morning in which several explosive devices and a Molotov cocktail-style object exploded outside 3 businesses in the city's northeast. The suspect was still at large at the time of the cocaine discovery at the White House. Oh, that cocaine-addicted firebomber again. Hunter? Social media users took the opportunity to poke fun at President Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden. Wait a minute, I didn't do that. I didn't do that. Whose struggles with drug addiction are well documented and made fun of and acknowledged by both father and son, noting he had recently attended a state dinner at the White House. No evidence has been produced connecting the discovery to Biden Jr., however. You can't make this stuff up. Is that D.C. that's got that? I thought New York was supposed to get some of that. I don't know if D.C.'s got. I don't remember. It seems like I did cover a story about D.C. and the vending machines. I remember covering the story. I can't remember exactly if it was D.C. or New York City, though. Could have been both. So, yeah, a lot of, it depends. Sometimes if they just find it and there's not, there's not a suspect or anything like that, I really do think that a lot of them dispose of it. I think a fair amount of them do. I also think that some of them take it. I am very certain that sometimes they may take things like marijuana and not give tickets or anything like that. And, I gotta wonder about that, because it's different. There's other instances where they might stop you and find a little baggie and make you dump it down on the ground right in front of them, and then they stomp it into the rocks, right? That sucks. But actually that's never happened. Neither of those. I don't have a single drug charge. Neither of those things have happened. But that's methed up. Huh. But, by the way, I do know for a fact of people that has happened. Now, I've actually caught with alcohol one time. Believe it or not, and I'm not even a drinker. Wasn't drinking that night either. But I was. The only alcohol or drug-related ticket I have ever had in my entire life was possession by a minor. And that was because, yeah, possession by a minor, I think it was, because it was in my car. We were out on a bridge, an old country road bridge and all that, and we were just out there, partying. I smoke weed, but I didn't drink. I was never a drinker. However, I was somebody with a car that drove out there, and I took people out there with me, and there was alcohol in my car. Well, car creeped up on us, and sure enough, it was a county sheriff, and yep. You know, the thing he was most pissed off about, and the only reason anybody got tickets was because one of the people with us threw his bottle, off the side of the bridge down into the water. And that was it. He said if he wouldn't have did that, nobody would have got a ticket. He'd have just made us pour it all out and made us be on our way. So, but anyway, that's it. That's the only time. And I wasn't even drinking that night. There was alcohol in my car because I was a driver. So, that's it. Only alcohol or drug-related ticket in my entire life, and it was even while I was a minor, so. Let's see. Poll reveals industrialized world's least trusted government. Oh, wow. That damn spider, me and that damn thing's gonna have a fight. You bastard. You just wait till after the show. I'm gonna make you build that again. He puts a spider web. This is an ongoing battle nightly now. He puts a spider web, and I did pest control for 3.5 years, and truthfully, about the best thing you can do with spiders is just discourage them. Just keep tearing down their nests. Usually it'll discourage them and they'll go somewhere else. But that little bastard's got it in for me, I think. Anyway, sorry. Governments of the U.S. and U.K. are trusted by just about a third of their respected populations, placing them dead last among the G7 countries, according to a Gallup poll posted Monday. The U.S. did worst among G7, with just 31% of poll respondents saying they had confidence in their government in 2022. The U.K. fared slightly better, with 33% expressing confidence. But among those who had approved of their leadership, national confidence there was rated the lowest in the world, tied with debt-ravaged Lebanon. In 2006, when Gallup began asking about national confidence, the U.S. and U.K. led the pack, with 56% of Americans and 49% of Britons expressing faith in their leaders. But while Washington bottomed out in 2013 with just 29% confidence, public trust in the UK only just collapsed last year to its lowest level since the financial crisis of 2008. Public trust has suffered dramatically in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, you think? When U.S. and UK leaders imposed economically devastating lockdowns that were subsequently found to have no scientific justification. YouTube. I'm reading the article. Both countries have also recently seen their previous leaders face criminal or civil investigations. Former U.S. President Donald Trump was impeached twice and now faces criminal charges for taking home classified documents when he left the White House, while his party points the finger at his successor, Joe Biden, for allegedly taking bribes. UK PM Boris Johnson resigned in disgrace after a string of scandals that began when he was caught drunkenly flouting his own lockdown rules. The so-called Partygate scandal would ultimately hound him out of his MP role last month as well. Nor did his departure lead to stability. The UK has had 4 prime ministers in as many years. Even as confidence in the U.S. government fell among Americans, outside approval was slipping too, with just 41% of global respondents approving of the Biden administration in 2022, a 4-point drop over the previous year, Gallup found. At the same time, as many as the U.S. and UK were losing voter confidence, the rest of the G7 countries enjoyed a rebound in public trust. Germany, which trailed nearly every other G7 nation in confidence in 2006 with just 32% of residents putting their faith in Berlin, now tops the chart with 61%. Italy has seen confidence among residents nearly double since 2019 when it hit a low of 22% to 41% in 2022. France, Japan, and Canada all saw their trust ratings improve since 2006 as well. Crazy. And speaking about crazy, this is insanity. The UK, they had a pretty rough go of it last winter. And unless they were just completely fear-mongering, then, a Porsche, Kyle McWhinney, a Porsche. And was that, who was that? There was a picture of some chick on the hood of the Porsche. Was like, that his lady of the night, or was that his daughter? I couldn't figure that out. The drone smoking the leopards? I don't know. I saw drone footage of the whole mining thing over there in Ukraine. If the minefield, I don't know if that's what sounds like. You're talking about something different, though. Sounds like you're talking about an actual military drone. What I saw wasn't a military drone. It was just like a Mavic, you know. A camera platform drone. Let's see. So, as I was saying, like, they were having a hard go of it last winter. Unless they were just completely bullshitting people, I can't tell you. I don't know. But they had a really hard go of it. They didn't know for sure. Oh, okay, Sidewinder. No, I haven't seen that, I don't believe. Nope. I'd have remembered that. But what they're doing, right? They don't have a good plan that they've let anybody know about. Okay, they haven't said that they were going to go back with Russian energy or any, because they're not saying that. I don't know how they plan to make it through this winter. And if you're over there, pay real close attention and get on it now. Come up with whatever method you're going to do. Oh, okay, yeah, I don't believe I saw that. Don't believe I saw that. I don't know what they're going to do this time around. Now, I'll just read the article. It says Britain will not fall back on coal-fired power as a backup option for generating electricity during the upcoming winter, the National Grid Electricity Systems operator said last week. British coal plant operators Drax Group and EDF Energy, whose facilities were available last winter, have started to decommission their generators, according to a statement by the ESO. The operators officially closed their coal plants at the end of March. Both operators have confirmed that they will not be able to make their coal units available for a further winter and have begun the decommissioning process, a spokesperson for the National Grid said. Uniper's Ratcliffe coal unit is still likely to be available under a separate capacity market system over next winter, the ESO said. 5 contingency units were fired up several times during the last cold season when Western Europe was struggling with an unprecedented energy crisis following a drop in oil and gas shipments from Russia. Sanctions against Russian energy imports have led to record high inflation across the region and a cost of living crisis in numerous countries. The UK warmed up the contingency units in March when a cold snap hindered wind generation. As part of efforts to curb fossil fuel emissions and meet its 2050 net zero target, the UK authorities are planning to close coal-fired power plants by October 2024. I don't know what they're going to do. And, you see this, and it's not just here. It's a lot of places. And I always tell people, search for the motive. And I do. I try to figure out the motive, and it always leads to they want it to fail. It's crazy to watch. This isn't incompetence. This isn't just people that don't know better. This is a plan. This is orchestrated. It's crazy. Huh. Crazy. Oh, I think much of the world's going to fall. It's not good. And that's why it frustrates me so much, because there are so many people out there that could be doing so much good. They've got such a reach, such a voice. But if they can't profit from something, yeah. And then, personally, it pisses me off to realize, to understand, to see with my own eyes how little they actually care about the people that they say they care about. Because if you withhold life-saving information just because you don't like somebody, or because you don't think it's important, just because you don't think it's important doesn't mean it's not important. It just maybe means you haven't thought of it yet. And speaking of the content creators, no plan is absolutely perfect. But at least we've got one. Very few have plans that deep. Very few. Winging it, not going to be much of an option. UN issues famine warning. The world is advancing toward a catastrophic future where tens of millions of people will be at risk of famine unless climate change is adequately addressed. It's not going to help it, homie. The United Nations Human Rights Chief warned at a debate on Monday. Speaking to officials at the UN Human Rights Council event in Geneva, Switzerland, Volker Turk said extreme weather events were having a significant negative impact on crops, herds, and ecosystems, prompting further concerns about global food availability. I know it's forever before it rained here, and we had like a couple little quick showers that we had, and we're talking about like a month since we had some like good rain. And we finally had some storms move through that gave us a good soaking. And, it bounced the grass back. I mowed today. It greening up and all that. I didn't think I was going to kill it the rest of the way by cutting it. Even though it's barely high enough to even see where you cut. But, weather's whack. It's not because of the cow Spartan either. It's not because of the Aquanet. We can't stop it. We didn't do it. We can't stop it. Let's see. Speaking to officials... Oh, wait. Said that one. More than 828 million people faced hunger in 2021, Turk claimed, and climate change is projected to place up to 80 million more people at risk of hunger by the middle of this century. No. Not climate change. Your system will do that. He added, our environment is burning, it's melting, it's depleting, it's drying, it's dying, and that these factors will combine to lead humanity towards a dystopian future unless urgent and immediate action is taken by environmental policymakers. No, your policymakers are the ones that wanting to put in the dystopian future. Under the terms of the 2015 Paris Agreement, often referred to as the Paris Climate Accords, which adopted by 196 parties at the time, signatories agreed to cap global warming below 2 degrees Celsius above the 1850 to 1900 levels, or to 1.5 degrees Celsius if possible. It's predicted that current policies could contribute to a 2.8 degree increase by the end of the century, according to the UN's Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. Hold up and stop. Because this is why the oceans are warming. I've said it a million times, and I'm not the only one to say it. Earth's magnetic shield is weakening. It is a scientific fact. What is also a scientific fact that when Earth's magnetic shield, known as the magnetosphere, is weakened, it allows more particles from the sun through. A lot more rays, the radiation, all the photons and all that good stuff, right? The more of it gets through. Well, considering that water makes up the largest mass on our planet, it heats up the water. Plain and simple. That's why the oceans are warming. Not because cows are farting. It's not because your mama used Aquanet. It's because of something we are not in control of. I mean it when I say their policymakers are wanting to bring the dystopian future to you. We've got an issue either way that we aren't going to be able to get around. And we're talking, I'm going to call it all but an extinction level event. Why? Because it hasn't taken out mankind since we've been here yet. It's not the first rodeo mankind's had with a pole shift. In fact, I can tell you about 3 of them in the Bible. So mankind bounces back. But from anything that I can tell, and I'm pretty sure that Ben Davison would concur, only small pockets of people survive. I don't know, maybe Prepper Channels ought to put that in your pipe and smoke it. What answers do you got for that? Because I've already been there too. Already got that covered. And if you pay attention to things I've said at this channel long enough, you'll figure it out. I'm speaking there to my viewers. These numbnuts that are too good for intelligence have no idea about the stuff I'm talking about. But I brought it up. I haven't directly, well, yeah, I think I have directly kind of linked it, but yeah, there too. Got gasifiers fitted, ready to use on equipment. Got the best plans anyway that I can come up with. Propulsion. Best that I can come up with. Not saying it's adequate. Not saying it's going to... I don't know. Nobody does. It's going to be kind of luck of the draw. When it comes to little pockets surviving, it's going to be the luck of the draw. Faith is important. Abiding by what he says is important. Because that's one thing I will guarantee you. If you're not on his team, probably not going to make it. Because it's going to take a whole hell of a lot more than our abilities to survive that. Now that's some true reality for you. Don't hear them channels talking about that either. Why? Because it's bigger than them. They don't have an answer for it. It's bigger than them. They can't come out there and say that. Hurt their image. Taiwan rehearses missile attacks on invading forces, says media. Taiwan military forces have reportedly carried out live fire drills along the self-governing island's southern coastline, practicing their response to a possible invasion amid rising fears of a Chinese attack. The latest exercise featured Taiwanese troops firing missiles from armored vehicles to destroy targets along the shoreline near the far southern tip of the island, Reuters reported on Monday. The troops used camouflaged Humvees and fired U.S.-made TOW anti-tank missiles at stationary targets near the coast. Most of the drills we carried out today involved live artillery because the defense exercise needs to be similar to actual combat, allowing our army to be confident and have the capability to protect our homeland, Taiwanese Defense Ministry spokesman Sun Lifang told reporters. Then it goes on into all the back and forth there with China, but I'm sure that China views this as a provocation. EU country joins U.S. chip export curbs to China. And had to look because I had a message on Facebook. It's from my brother, and I sent them a link to a Netflix series or whatever. I think it's called Making Fun. I think is the name of it, Making Fun, and it's a blast to watch it. And the host of the show reminds me like spot on of my oldest brother. And it's good. It's a good laugh. What it is, I'll give you the gist of it. It's what it is a bunch of guys that are good at making stuff, tinkerers, right? And they're all pretty well tinkers in certain areas. And I think one of the guys was actually involved in toy making or toy designing. And so the gist of the show is. They have kids come on, and the kids pitch ideas to them about these crazy, wacky things, and these guys will pick one of the things and they'll build it. One of them was a dinosaur that it had a conveyor that took tacos up, and I don't know why. They wanted a toilet. So the deal was you sat down on the toilet and you could stick your head up, open your mouth, and somebody operated the conveyor. They could conveyor up a taco up the dinosaur, and then it would fall into your mouth while you were sitting on the toilet. The kids dreamed it up. And last night there was unicorn bikes or something. These like unicorn bikes they were building. But it's hilarious. It's a blast to watch. Not only them work together, but to also watch them, working with the kids and stuff. They're not actually working with the kids physically, but working with them, getting their ideas out of them and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. Want a good laugh? Check it out. EU country. This is probably something to kind of tuck back in your head. What I don't have is any articles about the U.S. chip, the curbs. But the EU is joining in on it. And while this is important, the next article, in my opinion, is probably even more important. So, while I won't bore you with the details about about EU's curbing exports to China, what I will bore you with is China's retaliation to that. Here it says China has pushed back against the U.S.-led efforts to block advances in its chip-making industry, slapping restrictions on exports of key raw materials that its Western rivals need for producing semiconductors. Ruh-roh, Raggy. The new export controls announced on Monday by Chinese Commerce Ministry will go into effect on August 1st and apply to gallium and germanium, rare metals used in making computer chips and a variety of other products such as solar panels and advanced radar equipment. Uh-oh. Exporters will need special permission to ship either of the two metals or their derivative compounds out of China, the ministry said, citing national security interests. China is the world's top producer of gallium and is a leading exporter of germanium. The European Union has included both metals on its list of critical raw materials, meaning they are considered crucial to Europe's economy. The U.S. hasn't produced any gallium since 1987 and relied on China for 53% of its imports of the material between 2018 and 2021, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. Beijing's announcement comes just 3 days after Dutch government imposed new restrictions on exports of advanced semiconductor equipment, backing U.S. efforts to block China from accessing technology deemed critical to the development of artificial intelligence. Amsterdam's move drew an angry response from the Chinese government, which claimed that the U.S. was coercing other countries to help maintain its global hegemony and implement semiconductor suppression against China. Beijing added that the Netherlands should refrain from abusing export control measures to help maintain stability of the semiconductor industry's global supply chain. The new restrictions on raw materials apparently deliver on China's warning about the chip-making supply chain. An editorial published on Monday in the state-owned China Daily newspaper suggested that Beijing's move was made in retaliation for the curbs imposed by the U.S. and its allies. And I guess this is a quote here. It says those doubting China's decision could ask the U.S. government why it holds the world's largest germanium mines but seldom exploits them, the editorial said. Or they could ask the Netherlands why it included certain semiconductor-related products such as lithographic machines into its export control list. It is they that challenge the world's supply chain, and the blames that belong to them should never be shifted to China, and is defending its own legal national interest in this rather uncertain world. So we're not playing a good game here, because we import too much from China, including medication, and they don't have plans for that. again, it seems like it's orchestrated because it's like they don't even care about it. I don't know how you couldn't see that freight train coming down the track about the medications, but they're not doing anything to fix it. There's no way that they don't know it. We all know it. They have to know it. Got these damn headlines. That stomach cramp. I don't know why. I don't know what back's killing me. Okay, let me read through these and go take my happy ass to bed. Scholes explains Ukraine weapons refusal. EU country. Oh, I covered that. Russia threatened by Ukraine's bid to join NATO, says Medvedev. Swedish NATO membership is a pipe dream, says Turkish parliament speaker. Pardon me. Assassination attempt on Crimean governor thwarted, says FSB. Central Asian country falls victim to sanctions against Russia. EU considering compromise with Russia on SWIFT, says Financial Times. Mossad tracking foreigners in Turkey, says media. Ukraine's Leopard tank fleet dwindling, says Shoigu. I think it's actually Shoigu would be more correct, but I could be wrong either way. We can't buy Chinese arms, says Ukrainian Defense Ministry. Have you tried legs? Maybe it's just arms. Maybe they're short arms. Maybe they got some extra legs you could have. India's oil buying spree hits new high. Chinese defense chief wants to expand cooperation with Russia. France counts economic cost of unrest. That's got to be an ugly number. UK territory mulls alternative forms of governance. Ukraine already had statehood under USSR, says Scholes. French mayors warn mobilization against nightly riots. Or they urge, not warn, sorry, they urge mobilization. U.S. could stage chemical weapons provocation, says Russia. Hell, I just can't speak. A Ukrainian vodka magnate wanted by Moscow in terror probe. Apple's newest gadget faces production hurdles. Well, you're going to be facing a hell of a lot more hurdles than that, homie. They're talking about the VR headset that Apple's working on. $3,500, right? I mean, you'd have thought I was complete tight ass seeing my hesitation to get a Quest 2. And you won't see $3,500 for a VR headset. Out of their damn minds. So they were hoping to be able to produce 1 million of them, but I guess the manufacturer says they don't see that it's going to be possible to... I'm not sure if they... I know a number which changed from 1 million to 400,000, and I think in the article, I think there's talk of like some 150, 200,000 or something being possible to be built, I think, or that's what they have the supplies for, or something like that, but... Yeah, the whole $3,500 a pop thing is going to be an issue, too. UN issue, covered that. Vietnam bans Barbie. EU could be disgraced by confiscating frozen Russian assets, says Austrian FM. EU could... I just read that one. Let's see... Ukraine brands consumer goods giant as war sponsor. Kind of like Oreo, huh? Public voting opens in Andriy Stenin photo contest. EU reveals how much Russian money it has frozen. Ukraine keeps no secrets from CIA, said Zelensky. I bet CIA keeps secrets from you. White House evacuated covered that. Biden blocked UK NATO leadership bid, says media. He's pissed off because somebody stole his son's cocaine. Ukraine decries horrifying photos of jailed ex-president. Accuser labels Kevin Spacey a predator in sexual assault trial. Let's see. Moscow slams Zelensky's statements on Crimea. U.S. Treasury chief seeks to mend ties with China. Poll reveals covered that. Erdogan blames failure of Ukraine peace process on war lobby. Well, yeah. Netanyahu clarifies Israeli military plans in West Bank. Americans told to keep a low profile in China. Covered that. That's it. I covered the rest. Fun. I really hope folks think things through and start thinking more about the long game. Because as it stands, where a lot of these quote-unquote influencers are sending people to a slow, horrible failure. Because they didn't think deep enough. They didn't think far enough. Hollywood doesn't do that. Hollywood doesn't show you the whole 9 yards. You only get to see the first couple. And I firmly believe that's why this is absolutely not on the radar of so many of these people. Because Hollywood doesn't show it. I don't know what else it could be. I can sure as hell think longer than a couple of years in my future. I can also think about and understand what it means to have zero support from outside sources. A lot of hurdles to overcome. Not something you want to be winging. Right now, people can be busy building gasifiers, fitting them, getting things ready, so that when that day comes they need it, they go fire it up. They don't have to watch their community starve while they try to figure out how to get it to work. That's even if they know about the device. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've heard about the malaria. I think one of the articles I covered yesterday may have talked about it. Because we talked in chat a little bit about malaria and West Nile and what have you. I think that was the Florida is what they were talking about, if I'm not mistaken. I think. Could have been the Texas too, though. Fun times. I am going to get out of here. I'm going to take my happy ass to bed. I'm tired. I'm wore out. Don't really know why. I mean, not because I mowed the grass, but I don't think I slept real good last night. I don't know. Hopefully the cramping or whatever the hell pressure I feel in my chest just settles the hell down and I can go to bed. So anyway, I am out of here. I am going to get to that, and I hope you all have a good evening. God willing, we'll be back here tomorrow, and we'll just keep on pushing another day. So I appreciate everybody coming. Hope to see you again tomorrow. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.